Hey, good morning, friends. Welcome back to the Griffin's Nest. My name is Miss Mithril, and I am here today to share with you one of the first days of summer. What happens in summer? This may be your first time staying home for a long period of time during the summer. Don't worry, it's only temporary, and there's still plenty of things that you can do outside. Oh, you may have noticed since the weather's been getting warmer, people are starting to walk around outside more. Friends are playing together in small groups in the neighborhood, and there are some parks that have been starting to open up. So there's still plenty of good fun that you can have, whether in your own backyard or at the local playground. And remember, there's also all sorts of other really fun things that you can do, like go on a picnic and enjoy the warmth, sunbathing in the sun. As a matter of fact, that's what I've got on today. I've got myself a nice shirt. It's nice and soft and light. I'm ready for when the sun comes back out. It's hiding behind some clouds right now. But I'm all set with my summer wear, light, so that I can be warm the whole day through. Do you have some things that you like to do when it's warm outside? What's your favorite thing you like to do? Some of my most favorite things are laying in the sun outside with a nice book. It's a good, nice, relaxing, quiet time. Usually we might have quiet time on the inside of our house in a nice, quiet place. But being able to be warmed by the sun, it just makes you feel so much better afterwards. Oh, but there's something we have to do before we go outside. Can you think of what it is? What is it that we put on our skin before we go outside? Sunblock! That's right. Sunblock is very, very important lotion that you put all over your body that's going to be exposed to the sun, because it's so bright, and even though it's very far away, it's so hot, we can still get burned from it. And that's no fun. On Wednesday, I will be showing you a couple of things that you can use to help keep your skin safe when you're outside playing in the warm sun. And we'll talk about other important things too. But without further ado, let's get started with our day. Let's see, first thing we do is talk about time. That's right. Last time we left off, it was in the hour of 11. Right now it is 10:17. So we are going to move the small what color hand? The small red hand to the 10. Absolutely. And then what number is the blue hand almost to? Can you see it? The 4, that's right. Almost to the 4, and this indicates that it is 10:17 a.m. Very cool. All right, let's get that written down. Let me show you a little trick that I was just thinking I could do. You see how I have the number 11 there? I bet you I can turn that into a 10 without erasing it. Yeah, I can. 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 Yeah, I can infinity. Watch this. There you go. See? Didn't erase it or anything. Turned that 1 into a 0. Did you catch that? And then right over here, the blue numbers is going to go from a 3 over to a 17. Let's get out the red marker for that. Red marker? Excuse me, blue marker. Craziness. Erase it nice and good. 17. What two numbers am I going to need for 17? a 1 and a 7. The 1 and the 7 right there to make 17. It is 10:17. And that's what time it is on time. All right, and now it's time for the schedule. You might notice something a little different with our schedule today. I've been waiting for a long time for these to come in because I just think they're so neat. I recently got some new magnets. Look at this. I have the number 1 magnet. What comes after 1 is 2. And this little 2. Little buddy, number 2. And then after 2 comes 3. It's a nice green 3 looking at you saying, "Hi, how do you do?" We're going to help you keep track of your schedule today. So I'm just going to put them next to the things that we do every day. Take a look at that. If you can see, 1 next to the word story, 2 is next to the word fun, and 3 is next to the word tale. So these are 3 big things on our schedule we do every time here at Miss Mithrill's Story Time. 1, 2, 3. Can you sing that with me? 1, 2, 3. Very nice. You have a very nice singing voice. Okay, so let's go ahead and mark that. And I'm going to mark it with this little X right here. It's actually a multiplication symbol. It's a piece of math, believe it or not. Right now it looks like a letter, but it can also be used in math as well. Look at it right here. And the X is going to be next to the story time. All right, let's do it. Today's story is going to be none other than Fun Dog, Sundog by Deborah Heligiman. Illustration by Tim Bowers. For Tinka and for her friends Honeybee, Marigold, and Trippy. DH. To my friend Jeff. TB. That's a very nice dedication page. Tinka is a sweet dog, a treat dog, a jumping up to greet dog. Hey! A fun dog, a sun dog, a runnin', run dog. Whoop, whoop. Wait for me. Whoop, 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 whoop. A ride dog, a slide dog, a stay right by my side dog. Whee! A beach dog, a reach dog, a something new to teach dog. Get it, Tinka? Woof! Tinka is a dandy dog, a sandy dog, snatching all my candy dog. Woof! Oh! Tinka, give it back! Oh no! A howl dog, a yowl dog, a crawl beneath my towel dog. No, Tinka, not okay. An ocean dog, a motion dog, a grabbing suntan lotion dog. A sticky dog, an icky dog, An icky, sticky, licky dog. Tinka is a hot dog, a trot dog, a runs away a lot dog. A fair dog, a bear dog, and I don't want to share dog. No. Oh, Tinka. A busy dog, a dizzy dog, a soda is too fizzy dog. Psst. Uh-oh. Tinka is a park dog, a bark dog, a take me home it's dark dog. A night dog, a fright dog, a something's not quite right dog. A hairy dog, a sprayed dog, a skunk got in the way dog. Tinka is a stink dog, a blink dog, a too big for the sink dog, a tub dog, a rub dog, a scrub-a-dub-a-dub dog. Ooh. Tinka is a prancy dog, a dancy dog, a brushed and combed and fancy dog, a nap dog, a lap dog, a climb up in my lap dog. Oof. A care dog, a share dog, a when I meet her there dog. Aww. Did you notice the kind of trouble that Tinka got in? What was it that was in the bushes that sprayed her? You know what that's called? That is called a skunk. Let's take a quick look back at that. The thing about a skunk is they tend to have this long white stripe on their otherwise black body. It kind of tends to look like a cross between a squirrel and a cat in some respects. See how wide and bushed out its tail is? Now, if you ever see this creature, it's best to stay away from it because when it sprays you like this out of its rear end, oh my goodness, it will stink to high heaven. Woo! And that smell will stay on you for a long time. This is the skunk's what's called a defense mechanism. Every creature has one, even humans. It's a method that their body takes or does or performs to keep itself safe. So since the skunk is, it's kind of small-ish, it's about the size of a cat, maybe a larger cat, and it needs a way to keep itself safe. So the long white stripe on its back is a warning sign saying, stay away. I will make you stink if you come any closer. And they are not afraid to use it, let me tell you what. But in the event you should ever come across one and you do get sprayed, don't fret. There are some remedies to help get the smell out. It'll take a while, but some trains of thought say that tomato juice helps get the smell out. Can you imagine taking a bath in tomato juice? Well, that's just one of the solutions I've heard of. There are probably others out there. I wouldn't know though. I've never been sprayed by a skunk. As a matter of fact, I've never seen one. They're not that common where I live. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and mark that off the schedule. Alright, we have the X on the story, which is number 1. That's right. So we're going to move the marker down to fun. We are done now with number 1. Move the marker down to fun, because we are done with number 1. Alright, we have the X next to fun. Let's go ahead and give that last part a good old-fashioned check. Get your check fingers ready for me. We're going to go down and up on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Down, up. Check. Done for today. Alright, we will move on with our fun, and I think you'll have an exciting time with this one. While Miss Mithril gets set up, go ahead and get you something to drink. Maybe get some nice cushions to get comfy with, or stand up and do a nice stretch. Oh, one stretch you can do that'll make you feel really good is putting your arms up over your head and you're going to bend over backwards. Oh, it makes your back feel so good. This is called a sun salutation. As if you're saying hello to the sun and your arms are way up high, stretching high to the sun. Alright, see you in just a couple minutes.
hope this sounds better. Okay. So, as we can see in front of us, we got pretty much most of what we need going. Yes, we got everything we need for today. Alrighty. So friends, as you can see here, Miss Mithril has herself some brown paint. And believe it or not, if you don't have any brown paint, you can always mix certain colors of your other paints together to make brown. It will come out looking like an odd shade, but if worst comes to worst, that is an idea. Make sure not to use too much or too little of all the colors. See if you can ask a parent for help. What we're going to make today is none other than a telescope, a craft telescope that the pirates would use. Do not worry if you do not have these items right now. You can always grab them later and follow me today on what we're doing now. We'll be continuing this during our fun time throughout the week. So this is a pretty easy craft. What you're going to need is a long paper towel roll like this one and a short roll like this. It's a toilet paper roll. And what Miss Mithril did last night was I went ahead and prepared by cutting with a pair of scissors up all the way until I had this slit. And I did not do the same to this one because it doesn't really need it. The reason why I cut this one was so that I could wrap it around the smaller one. And look at that. Now I can make it this long, or I can make it shorter, like that. You can also do it in another section. You can cut off another part here and slide it back and forth as well. But I'm just going to do it this one time because this one's going to be mine and it's going to be mine uniquely. And that's what I wanted for this one. Also to make it easier for you to follow along. Whoop. Slide. Look at that. Alright, so the first thing we're going to want to do is paint them. Alright, I'm going to paint them as quickly and as efficiently as I can. As you can see here, I already went and got me some paper towel so that I make less of a mess when I'm painting. Even though this paint is easy to clean up, it's always good to be as prepared as possible when you're doing a craft. And remember, you can use pretty much any paintbrush. The wider the better. So I'm actually going to be using this one today. See that one? Nice and wide and thick bristles. Can you hear the sound it makes? Alrighty. I'm going to shake up my paint just a little bit. And we're going to pop it in. Oh, I'm running out. Hopefully I have just enough for this project. Oh, come on. Come on. There we go. We're getting it. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is this is torture. This is making Miss Mithril think of chocolate. I just happen to have some chocolate pudding downstairs in my fridge. So I may very well go and get me some after the show. That's a little treat. A little treat. But that will be my snack for today. Alright, see I got plenty there. Should be more than enough. And what do we do with the empty containers? Well, you can either recycle it by putting a bunch of water in this, cleaning it out, use it for something else, but I am choosing to throw it away. In my trash can it goes. Alright, let's get it started. Ha! Okay, I'm going to start with the smaller one. Go ahead and brush, 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 brush. This is actually one of my most favorite activities to be doing with you, brushing and just doing fun crafts. It's so therapeutic and so relaxing to be doing crafts. Whether it's on your own or with somebody. Of course, it is more fun when you're doing it with somebody else, so. If you ever have an idea for a craft for yourself, feel free to invite a friend over. Let them know, hey, I'm going to do a craft today. Would you like me to save some of the material? And you join me. And when your friends comes over, make sure that they wash their hands before they come in. Always very important. We still got to keep our hands washed every single day, in or outside of our home. Okay. Looks like I just about got this one. Ooh. Turned out really nice, actually. I like how that's turning out. Look at that. Okay. That part's done. I'm going to put it right there to stand up so it can dry. Now for the bigger one. This one's going to take a lot more work. Uh-oh. It's touching the smaller one. Whoop. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this one nice and painty full. Get a lot of paint on this one. And here we go. Nice wide strokes. Stroke, 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 stroke. And we'll just be painting for today. On Wednesday, we will be adding like a bit of yellow up to the front, right around there. Or maybe I could put some yellow tape on it. Just something to mark or indicate that it's the front. And that's the side that the pirates would look out the side. Also, if you're doing this along with me, feel free to grab some stickers. Especially if you have any nice pirate stickers. They look great. But honestly, as always, this is totally your project. You can use whatever you want. It's all you, buddy. I should have played the music. Okay, that's looking really nice. Look at that. Okay, now even though it looks like I haven't finished, I'm going to stop it once I get a few more swipes in and use a little bit more of this paint. I'm going to stop it there because I have a special place downstairs that I can hang it up to dry on a clip. And then at a later time, when all this has dried out, I can touch it without it getting on my fingers, like it already has started to do, then I can add more. And it'll be ready to finish up on Tuesday. Alright, see how good that's looking? Oh gosh, I'm still wanting that chocolate pudding. Whoa. Good thing it doesn't smell like chocolate. Nope. Just smells like paint. Ugh. The smell of paint, though. I mean, it's not appetizing, don't get me wrong. I don't go around eating paint. Of course not. Alright. So that's that for now. And if you would like to see some other examples of other people that have posted or made these kind of telescopes to get some inspiration for yourself, I will be putting them on the Griffin's Nest page on Facebook later on today. So feel free to take a gander at that and see what you think. Alright, hang tight. I'm going to go hang this up. And I'll be back in just a couple of minutes, friends. One of the most exciting parts about making something, a craft project for yourself, is thinking about the way it's going to look. Now, sometimes they don't always turn out exactly the way you imagine in your mind, but don't worry about that. Just think about how awesome it's going to be while you're doing it, and what you'll learn by doing something new. Believe it or not, every time you do something new, you are learning and getting better at something. You might not realize it, but this is one of the reasons why people will always tell you, just try and try again. Because, just like a flower, the seed may be deep down into the soil underground, and you might not see it start to grow at first. But the more that you continue to water it and love it, the more it will grow out of the ground and be big and be a beautiful flower. Or if you plant vegetables and fruits, it's going to be vegetables and fruits. The point is keep going even if you don't see results at first. Now, let's go ahead and get back to our schedule. Oh, I can't wait for the next part. Today's tale, we're going to do something very cool and very different. Alright, so what we got marked, what number we got? The word fun marked with number 2. So we're going to take that X and put it down there next to the number 3. 3 is tailing tail. 3 is tailing tail. Let's get it on and move it along. Alright, you want to help me check off fun for today? Alright, get that checking hand out. We're going to go down and up. Ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, and check. Here we go. Fun is done. Fun is done. Underneath 1, that fun is done. Okie dokie. Now, today's story. We have gone from tail, T-A-L-E, to tail, T-A-I-L, like a doggy's tail. There's a difference there. The word is the same, but depending on how you spell it, means 2 different things. I'll write that down for you. Here is the word tail spelled in 2 different ways. They sound the same, but they mean 2 different things. The word tail up here at the top, T-A-L-E, means story. And below there is T-A-I-L, which is what doggies or kitty cats have. That long tail on their backs that stick out. And lots of other creatures have tails too. What kind of animals do you know of that have tails? Good. Now, what makes it so funny to me is we're moving from folk tales. For this summer, we're going to be reading some mini chapter books, just like we did with Peter Pan, where we read a little bit at a time every day until we finished it. And this story, this is what I've been so excited about, is about a puppy dog that pretends he is a little boy named Jim Hawkins who runs into some pirates. Wishbone is this puppy dog's name. And when I was a little girl, I used to love watching his TV show. It was about this lovable pup that you could hear what he was thinking. And only you and me could hear what he was thinking in the show. Because he loved hanging out with his owners and sitting on his big red couch where he could read books all day while he waited for his owners to come back from work or from school. His owners were Ellen and Joe Talbot. There's a mommy and a little boy. Joe also has 2 friends, David and Sam. David and Sam are 2 of his greatest friends, and they get into all sorts of adventures together. At first, I used to think it was neat that they could hear Wishbone's thoughts too, but no, when you would watch the show, it would just be me and you, the viewers, that could hear his thoughts. Unfortunately, Joe, Sam, and David couldn't hear his thoughts, but it was still really cool that they went on adventures together. And anyway, in Wishbone's life, he goes on this awesome adventure that reminds him of the story of Treasure Island. Treasure Island is another fictional character story about pirates, and we're going to begin it today. We're going to read the first 2 chapters. To the great readers of the Schrumberg Township Schools. And we see a picture of a horseshoe here. That's going to be part of Wishbone and his family's story that we'll hear about. And here is a picture of that big red chair that I was talking about. And do you remember the name of this pup? Wishbone! It says, "From the big red chair." Oh, hi! Wishbone here. You caught me right in the middle of some of my favorite things, books. Let me welcome you to my brand new book series, The Adventures of Wishbone. In each of these books I have adventures with my friends in Oakdale and imagine myself as a character in one of the greatest stories of all time. In Salty Dog, I imagine I'm a young boy named Jim Hawkins from Robert Louis Stevenson's adventure story, Treasure Island, an exciting tale about pirates on the high seas and buried treasure. You're in for a real treat, so pull up a chair and a snack and enjoy reading. Wishbone trotted happily along a trail that wound through green, piney-scented woods. The day was beautiful and the sun was warm on his back, the earth springy beneath his paws. Eyes bright, head held high, tail wagging, he felt ready for anything. Yes, sir, the little white and brown Spot's dog thought joyfully. This is the way everything ought to be. One Jack Russell Terrier, alone and brave, ready to face adventure. Only, where are you, Adventure? Hello? I'm looking for you. Come on, I'm bold. I'm courageous. I'm... Yipe! Beep, 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 beep. Startled, Wishbone glanced behind him. A thin woman was riding a bike down the trail. She wobbled slightly as she moved one hand to honk the little plastic horn with all the energy Wishbone might have to put into chasing a cat. Or begging for a snack. It was Wishbone's next-door neighbor, Wanda Gilmore, wearing an enormous red hat. Huge goggles that made her look as if she had a bug's face, and a flower-printed pantsuit. Wishbone leaped out of her way. He got along with Wanda, usually. Of course, she was unreasonably fussy about his burying bones in her yard. It was a fussiness Wishbone thought was uncalled for. After all, Wanda had such a nice, soft, welcoming dirt in her flower beds. Close behind Wanda came 4 others on bikes. First in line was Ellen Talbot, with whom Wishbone and his best friend Joe lived. Ellen was Joe's mom, and a wonderful cook. Wishbone cocked his head at her in a doggy, "Hello! Hi, Ellen! Great breakfast today. My compliments on the kibble." When Ellen pedaled past without speaking, Wishbone sighed. Nobody listens to the dog. Next came Samantha Kelpler, a girl wearing a yellow jersey and a red bike helmet. Wishbone gave her a big doggy smile. "Hi, Sam! Bet you're feeling adventurous too." Samantha, like Wishbone, had a vivid imagination and a love for excitement. On the next bike was David Barnes, an energetic boy in a dark blue sweater and a blue safety helmet. Wishbone liked David too. He was a genius at building things and was quick to laugh. Wishbone's tail began to wag joyfully because last of all came his very best friend, Ellen's son, Joe, a smiling, brown-haired boy dressed in a striped shirt, royal blue biking shorts, and a white helmet. He pulled up, grinning, and said, "Hey there, boy! You knew we'd catch up sooner or later. Let's go." He pushed off again. Wishbone paused a moment. "Be there in a second, Joe. I'm checking for the scent of exciting exploits." He took a deep sniff of the morning air, feeling as if he were one with nature. A rich history of the area came in through his sensitive nose. Lots of squirrels live around here. And rabbits, too, Wishbone thought. But squirrels weren't the adventurous type. Sure, it was fun to play tag with them, but when a squirrel was it, Wishbone just couldn't get the furry little creature to chase him back. A faint, old smell puzzled the little dog for a moment, and then he finally recognized it. Horses had been somewhere nearby, and horses could mean excitement. Cowboys and explorers rode horses. The horses Wishbone smelled, however, hadn't been around for years and years. He sighed and hurried after his friends. Where was he going to find this adventure? It was hiding from him that day. There he was, a dog on the prowl for excitement, and nothing exciting was happening. Up ahead, the trail widened and opened out onto a clearing. Through the trees, Wishbone glimpsed a moldering gray barn, an old building with a weather vane in the shape of a running horse on its roof. The bikers had all stopped and were staring at the place as Wishbone came loping into the clearing. Junk cluttered the weed-overgrown ground, and rusting, abandoned threshing machine, a skeletal broken-down tractor with briars growing through it, and other odds and ends. Everything smelled ancient to Wishbone. That is, everything except the paint on the new wooden sign that had been nailed to a post. It said, "This property condemned. City of Oakdale, number 143. "Ah, we have arrived," Wanda announced dramatically, pushing her goggles up onto her forehead. She became very enthusiastic now, and then about her hobbies. Among the other passions, she was wild about growing petunias and roses. When she latched onto the new hobby, she was like a dog with a bone. So Wishbone could really respect her enthusiasm. She had recently decided that long, invigorating bike rides to explore Oakdale were both healthy and fun. And again, Wishbone heartily agreed. There's nothing as great as a good long run in the countryside, he thought. Unless, of course, it's a daring exploit. Or food. Gesturing grandly as she held a folded map of Oakdale, Wanda said, "My friends, I give you the Trumbull Barn." Samantha, or Sam for short, stared at the barn as if it were an enchanted castle. "It's beautiful. It looks just like the barn he described in Blackbeard's horseshoe." She looked back to the rest of her companions, her eyes sparkling, and explained, "That's my favorite Trumbull book." Wanda put her arms around Sam's shoulder. "Oh, I love that book too." Wishbone grinned so widely that his tongue hung out. "Books! One of my favorite hobbies. Oh, gang, I know the Trumbull books. Great stuff. Of course, they'd be better with the horses and what more dogs, but they're full of adventure. Hey, that's right. I'm looking for adventure. Excuse me while I see if I can sniff some out." Behind Sam and Wanda, Joe and David and Ellen exchanged glances. At one time, Mr. Trumbull had been a local celebrity, the author of a number of books about horses, but he had died years ago. David asked, "Did you ever read any of those books?" Joe shook his head, but his mom, who was a librarian, nodded. "I've read them all. They're good." Ellen Talbot said, "You should read one sometime. You probably like it." "I think Wanda and Samantha must have been about the two biggest Trumbull fans around." "What was the title you mentioned?" David asked Sam. "Blackberry's Shoes?" "No, Blackbeard's Horseshoe," Sam said impatiently. "Blackbeard was the famous black and white stallion." "You know," Wanda said over her shoulder, "Mr. Trumbull really did have a horse named Blackbeard. Why, rumor has it that after Blackbeard died, Mr. Trumbull nailed his horseshoe somewhere into the walls of the barn." Sam gave her a quick look. "Are you serious?" Joe called out, "What's so special about this horseshoe?" Sam shrugged and said, "Well, in the book, whoever owns the horseshoe has the courage to go anywhere, no matter what the risk." Wishbone's tail wagged. "To boldly go where no dong has gone before. Yep, I could live with that. Sounds thrilling to me." With a determined nod, Wanda added, "To be a true explorer," she sighed. "It's a shame the barn's being torn down." Sam's expression became sad. "Oh, Miss Gilmore, I have to go inside and get into that barn and get it before it's gone. I need to find Blackbeard's horseshoe." Ellen said kindly, "But that's impossible, Samantha. The barn's condemned. It's rickety and dangerous." "That's right," Wanda agreed. She sighed again. I just wanted you to see it before it's gone. Well, let's move on. She held up her map, waving everyone back onto the trail. With her eyes on the fluttering paper, Sam asked, "Can I have that?" Wanda blinked in surprise. "The map?" "Well, of course." She handed it to Sam, folded. It was the size of a tall, thin book. Its cover showed a red sun rising over the city skyline of Oakdale. Sam took the map as if it were a golden treasure. "Thanks," she said. "I just want it as a souvenir." Wanda nodded in an understanding way, then bellowed like a drill sergeant, "Let's go, people!" Wanda, Ellen, David, and Joe moved on, pedaling their way down the trail. But Sam lingered behind. She unfolded the map and looked just south of the airport at the spot that Wanda had circled. It was the site of the old Trumbull horse farm, the very place where she now stood. She gazed at the map and then back at the barn, her eyes shining with anticipation. Wishbone looked up at her. "Sam?" "Hello? What are you waiting for?" Softly, as if speaking to herself, Sam said, "I'll be back, Blackbeard. I'll be back." And then she hopped onto her bike and rode away, leaving behind a very thoughtful Wishbone. I do feel an adventure coming on at last. Let's see, Sam's curious, and she's courageous, and she's a kid. Oh yes, that definitely spells adventure. It also spells the name of one of my favorite books, written by the Scottish author Robert Louis Stevenson in 1883. It's a story of danger on the high seas and a hidden treasure in the faraway place. The story begins on the southwest coast of England at a place called the Admiral Benbow Inn, and it's about a brave and smart young lad named Jim Hawkins. And the title of the story? Why, matey, it's one that's always sends a shiver of excitement from my nose right down into my spine to the tip of my tail. From stem to stern, as you might say. The title is Treasure Island. Chapter 2. So Wishbone imagined himself as an English boy living near a little sea village named Black Hill Cove in 1760s. He could see the ocean sparkling in the morning sun. He could also imagine the cobblestone road leading out of the village. It snaked up the steep hill past a great stone house named Hall, where the important local landowner, Mr. Trelawney, lived. The road crossed a bridge and wound still higher. At the top of the hill stood a gray stone inn 2 stories tall. It had a steep black slate roof, and over the front door was a colorful red and blue sign with a painting of a British admiral on it. The sign read, Admiral Benbow Inn. Wishbone imagined that he was Jim Hawkins, the boy who told the story. "Yes, folks, this is my home, the Admiral Benbow Inn. It is a wonderful place, with benches in front of big sunny windows where I can curl up and tuck my tail over my nose for a nap on cold winter days. There are cool nooks and crannies under the stairs where I can snooze when it's hot in the summer days. Here in this comfortable inn I live with my father and mother. I remember the brown old sailor as if it was yesterday. He came plodding into the front of the inn, pulling his sea chest behind him in a hand-barrel. He was tall and strong. Running across one of his cheeks was a scar from a saber cut. He looked around, and then in a high, cracked voice he began to sing an old sea song. 15 men on a dead man's chest, yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum." He rapped on the door. When my father let him in, he knocked roughly for a glass of rum. Before my father, who was very ill, could bring it, the old sailor snatched a glass from another customer and downed the drink in a gulp. I blinked at this rudeness and thought, okay, self-service is fine if that's what you want. When he had finished his drink, he growled, "This is a handy cove. Much company, mate?" My father told him no, and we had very little company. "Well then," he said, "this is the place for me. I'm a plain man. Rum and bacon and eggs is what I want, and that cliff up there for watching ships. Call me Captain. There." He threw down 3 or 4 gold pieces. "Tell me what the run's out." I trotted upstairs ahead of him to show him where to put his heavy sea chest. He followed me into the front room, and I grabbed the curtains in my teeth and opened them to show him how his window looked over the cliffs to the great blue ocean. He grunted in satisfaction, and then asked my name. "Jim," said he who I was told to him. "Look here." He held out a silver 4-penny piece. "Would you like to have that?" "Yes, sir," I said. That was more money than I usually had in 2 months. I could use it to buy a new squeaky toy. Maybe 2. The captain grinned. "All right, matey. Be my lookout. Keep a sharp eye open for—" He turned pale and swallowed hard. "For a seafaring man with 1 leg," he croaked. "And tell me double quick if you see him. Keep watch, and I'll give you a silver 4-penny piece every month, regular as a clock." I nodded enthusiastically and thought, sounds like a deal to me. Just call me Hawkeye Hawkins. I'll be the best lookout who ever looked at out. Every month after that he paid me my 4-penny piece, though no 1-legged sailor ever appeared. But the captain seemed so frightened just talking about the 1-legged man that I became afraid too. I remember a terrible dream I had one night when the wind shook the house and the surf roared along the cove and surged up the cliffs. In my dream, I took the doorknob in my teeth and opened the door to empty the bucket of water I had used to scrub the floor. I heard a sound coming from the bridge, and my ears perked up. What I saw made my fur stand on end and stopped me dead on my paws. A monstrous creature, 10 foot tall with huge claws and a mouthful of razor-sharp teeth, was bounding up on 1 leg, which grew from the middle of his body, and he sprang along on this bizarre limb in huge leaps. I ran, pumping my 4 legs as hard as I could, but he jumped after me, coming closer and closer. I felt his hot breath on the fur covering the back of my neck, and I woke up shivering from nose to tail. I like a game of chase as much as the next guy, but this is too scary for young Jim Hawkins. I want adventure, not a horror show. Our next guest stayed on for months. Autumn transformed itself into a sharp, cold winter, but his habits never changed. I stayed inside to keep the frost out of my fur, but the captain went a long walk every day to stare at the ships through the brass telescope. At night he sat and drank rum and water very strong. And guess who had to wear his poor little front paws on the bone, scrubbing up everything after he spilled it? Some adventure. Jim Hawkins, professional mop artist. When the captain had had too much rum, he would roar and bellow and thump the table. And he would send 4 folks to accompany him in singing his old sea songs. He scared people with his stories, dreadful tales about hanging and walking the plank, and storms at sea and wild deeds, and places on the Spanish Main. My sick father was always saying customers would stop coming to the inn and would be ruined financially. But people liked the excitement of those hair-raising stories, and they came to hear them night after night. They called the captain a real British sea dog. In one way, the captain did hurt the inn, for after my poor father took to his bed and could no longer get about, my mother was afraid to ask the captain for more money. He went on living at the inn until he owed us a large sum. Toward the end of my father's life, a disturbing event took place. The local physician, Dr. Livesley, came late one afternoon to visit his patient, and afterward he ate dinner at the inn. The doctor was a neat, quick man with a powdered wig as white as snow, bright black eyes, and a pleasant manner. After dinner he called me over to where he sat in the parlor. "Jim," the doctor began kindly, "you know your father is very ill." I looked down, my heart feeling heavy, my tail drooping towards the floor. "Yes, sir, but he'll get better, won't he?" The doctor patted the fur on my shoulders gently. "I'm afraid not, Jim. He's worn out and suffering, and he's worried that he'll soon be gone, and you'll be the man of the house. He wanted me to tell you to look after your mother when he is no longer here. I couldn't answer, for I was crying. Just then, from his table across the room, the captain piped up his eternal song. 15 men on a dead man's chest. Yo-ho-ho, and a bottle of rum. Drink and the devil had done for the rest. Yo-ho-ho, and a bottle of rum. Dr. Livesey looked up, annoyance on his face upon hearing the loud, grating voice. Everyone else fell silent, but Dr. Livesey went on talking. Jim, he said, I know how hard it is when... The captain glared at him, slapped the table, and shouted, Silence! Between decks! Some people are like that. No matter how bad you feel, they bark at you for no reason at all. Coldly, the doctor turned to him and said, I have only one thing to say to you, sir, and it is that if you keep on drinking rum, the world will soon be rid of a very dirty scoundrel. We will stop there for now. Yeah. And we are going to continue at a later time. This is most of Chapter 2. But it is just about time for us to head on. Page 20. Alright. Duly noted. Well, I hope that has stirred some excitement for you. What do you think's going to happen next to Jim Hawkins? Well, tune in Wednesday to hear more from Treasure Island, Wishbone's Salty Dog Edition. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's do one more time, and then we'll close out. Right now, it is 11:12. So, it looks like we're going to be turning that 0 back to a 1. I know what you must be thinking. Miss Mithril, can you turn that 0 back to a 1? Ah, not this time, I'll be honest. But I can't erase it. And that 7 will turn into our 3. It has almost been an hour we've been on the show today, friends. Alright, and as not much has changed, except for a little bit of dialing back with the blue. And that 10 with the shorthand goes to the 11. And there you go. 11:13. Whoops. Miss Mithril messed up a little bit, didn't she? I wrote another 0. 11:13. There we go. That's the time. That's the time. That's the time. Alright, friends. I hope you have a great day. And do something exciting. I'll see you on Wednesday and we'll read more of our story. See you then!